Yeah.
You can. I'm here. I'm live. Yeah, I'm there. I'm there. You just look at the hangout thing. I'm down the bottom.
Okay, there you go. You're really white.
Well,
Your normal color?
I'd appreciate if you didn't draw too much attention to it. Yes, I haven't been on a.
Is that your natural color? Is that your? Have you been in some sort of industrial chemical accident or?
Yeah, pretty much once a week. This is.
Good evening. How are you?
You're already live. That's right. I can see us live here. So there you go. Exactly on time. I said we would be 20 seconds late, and by my count, that's exactly what we were. So,
you are too kind.
Ben Duncan, we don't owe you anything, and if we do, it's an Italian lira, so it doesn't count. So how's it been? You've been in America. Let me just pull this under my. Plug this in here like this.
So a few months ago, we alluded to an English school that hired a foreigner, and he was happy about the way he was treated here.
He was an abused foreigner, yes.
And he is still in Japan now, but I actually interviewed him, and he's been on my my channel. He's been on Scott's Unrest's channel. And I just received news minutes ago that his old English school is now out of business, as in they've been closed down.
You mean they've gone out of business, or they have actually been closed down by higher powers?
Whether it's, the news I have here is, haha, motherfucker. So it's hard to tell. But the school is no longer open. The shutters are down.
Yeah.
All we can say, but so congratulations.
I mean, it sucks for the other teachers and stuff, but it sounds like if what we heard was true, it sounds like they have a track record of really abusing their staff. So,
and to be fair, that's the only hesitation he had was what happened to the other teacher. I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
The name of the school was Brains English, and apparently the shutters have been closed. Yeah. Well, I'm really surprised at this news. I've recently been watching. I don't know what name to give it, but people who come to Japan who have left Japan. I want to say losers.
Well, that would include us, so don't use that.
And one of those, of course, is a really wonderful video by Michelle. No, I'm sorry, not Michelle. Stephanie.
Well, it sounds a lot like Michelle.
Caffeine Jedi.
Oh yeah.
The Caffeine Jedi has a great video out called "Why I Left Japan."
Yeah.
Right. It's a really good video, and it talks about all the drama that happened while she was here with her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, her new boyfriend, and finally, what happened.
Yeah. And
for some reason, I wasn't actually looking at her video at first. I've seen her video before, but I was looking at other videos, and I came across a series of videos about Japan's life sucks in Japan. And one of them is by a girl named something Banana Shark something 72 or 76. I don't remember exactly, but
for starters, it's got a credible username, so I would pay attention.
It's a great username.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you though, they're possibly the worst videos I've ever seen.
That's a bold statement, because I've seen some, we've both seen some bad videos. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when I watch a video, I have a tendency to try to go against the grain or against the common thinking on that video. Yeah. And the common thinking on those videos suck.
Yeah.
If you look at the views, they're 50-50. They're ever so slightly 50. They're 50.5% against her.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
However, so I watch those and I think, okay, I'm going to try to find reasons to support those videos and say, hey, these are good videos. But to be honest, I was more like, okay, this is definitely a stupid video. but it became more interesting to me because they were actually great examples of people who should never have come to Japan in the first place. They were just people who were just.
Let's be clear. Is this because this is a bad video in terms of just video making, or what they were saying? The content about these were people who should never have come to Japan. Is that what bothered you? What's the kicker on this?
Their attitude about Banana Shark 72. I'm sorry,
Banana Shark 72. Like it.
Banana Shark 72, and she's, for example, I've seen three or four of her videos, and one of her videos is entitled "Japan Life: This Sucks." Emoticon unhappy face. Horrible videos.
But
she basically
I like it already.
Here.
Yeah,
which is okay. I don't mind being insulted as a person who lives here, but the reasons she gives are more damning to her than they are to the person.
Give us the reasons. You can't leave me hanging like this. Is the bananas aren't up to her standard? I mean, bananas are
because you're singly. You're not cool. You're obviously in Japan because you must have been a failure in your own life.
Did you just call me fugly?
That's what she said.
She called me fugly. She called me fugly. How can she get away with this?
I don't know. But anyone who's been over here over 5 years. But she does have a point. There is that kind of a status. There is that foreigner who measures himself against the other foreigners by the time he's been here and thinks he's, for some reason superior because of it. You've seen those people, right? I mean,
of course.
I'm not saying they're correct, but you've seen those people.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but while she's describing her experience here, she's slowly digging a deeper hole. But the funny thing is that I can't turn away. Yeah, and she's actually quite attractive, actually.
Oh, so what's a banana shark?
Now I'm dealing with beautiful women. I mean, I'm not sucked in by their beauty. I'm completely aware of what they're trying to do by trying to be beautiful.
Yeah, they're devious, aren't they? What's her name again? Banana Shark. There are some numbers at the end.
They are very devious, but I'm good at dealing with that.
OD Junior, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, this is your first episode. What are the numbers on the end of her name again? It's Banana Shark what? 72.
Oh, 72. 72. So when you get a chance, check her out. She's quite interesting.
I left Japan. There it is. So yes. She's gone.
She's got videos out there. So you got three or four videos, Japan-related videos.
Please watch the whole video before you form a negative opinion on what I'm saying.
It's almost like she's asking you to. So even that title. Okay, but tonight we're not here to talk about her. But I think I wish you could have her on air. I think she'd be wonderful to have.
It's funny. There's a few of these videos on the side. All of these. So the recommended videos on the side are the Japanese host family from hell by Digital Mimi. There's Why I Left Japan and Future Plans by Miss Nosebleed.
Yes,
Dream Crusher. Ryan Douglas.
She's actually, her content is actually very good, and she looks like an anime.
She looks like an anime.
Gorgeous. She's perfect. She's so blonde, and she has beautiful eyes and face.
Miss Nosebleed.
But her video is actually very, it's very logical. Okay, I cannot make enough money in Japan, so I decided to come home and make more money.
Yeah. She looks good until you play which is terrible. I can't believe I just said that out loud, but I just pressed play.
Oh, I mean, judging her only from her look, she's gorgeous.
Oh man, yeah, don't talk. No, I shouldn't say it. Oh.
She's gorgeous.
So you said today for the first time ever, we would stick to the script.
Yes, we're going to stick to the script. So we will ignore Miss Nosebleed for now. Though her videos are there forever, and so are. But we should do a special episode. It would be wonderful to get one of these young ladies on the channel. But they were brought to my attention just by association, because they are connected on YouTube to Caffeine Jedi, who has a great 30-minute video called "Why I Left Japan." And I don't know why I got stuck watching these videos this morning as I was preparing for this video that we are doing now.
Anyone like hacking, you would see Victor leaving Japan on your playlist this morning.
My wife would probably be worried, like, "What are you gonna be leaving us?" Anyway, let's get to those questions. We have tons of them.
Boom. Yes.
Right.
So 74 comments.
On the Flakman channel, I put up a video today called News/Topic Request for August 8th, 2015.
Yeah.
And we have tons of videos. So let's go through these questions, Hiko. You don't have to watch. Let me just read them out to you.
Where?
Okay. The first one is really I don't understand it. Maybe you do, Victor. Maybe it would be a good time to talk about Meninism.
Meninism. I
have no idea what. Note here. I am not a feminist, so apparently that's the being a male rights activist, MRA, maybe.
I guess it's the male equivalent of feminist.
Yeah. I think it's a waste of time. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I got nothing. I mean, what do we need it for?
Well, apparently, feminists are becoming too strong, and they're taking away our natural rights. So we have to.
You're going to say natural resources for a minute. I'd say whatever mine they're digging, yeah, that should be stopped. But no. I don't think there's anywhere where women have become so dominant of society that men are now at such a disadvantage that. No, I can't think of anywhere.
Because you're a man. You don't understand. You don't know how to defend us.
Yeah. I don't know. Which part of the world do you think women have the most
power group?
Well,
no, seriously.
Well, which exist, right?
Yeah, which exists, but everyone makes fun of them. So that's what Meninism is, basically.
But a question: where do you think in the world would be the closest to that? Where do you think women in the world have the most power?
Where do women have the most power besides the fictional Amazon jungle? I don't know.
Where would Meninism be needed most? Maybe Scandinavia.
Why Scandinavia?
Because they're very progressive. They've got they've actually got laws that say half of all the politicians have to be women. They have a proportional electoral system where we just vote for the party and they just fill up the numbers of politicians on the list. Really? And there's a rule that half the people they put forward are half women, so they represent the population. You take America, which is theoretically democratic, but there are like almost no women, right, in Congress. So it's interesting, but and New Zealand's a little bit like that, although we don't actually mandate the ratios. Lucas Massa should suggest the Isle of Lesbos needs Meninism.
Who needs it?
Sorry, was that a sentence?
Who needs it?
The Isle of Lesbos in Greece. Yes. I think it's in Greece, but
I know many lesbians.
The Greeks are American Samoa. Well, yes, and many Pacific Island. That occurred to me actually that women are very dominant in many Pacific Island societies, but men still are there. They have the Mātai system in Samoa. The men do okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, there's not much we can say there except
no. We don't really agree. We can draw it out, but no.
I understand that
we're just fluffing the subject matter.
Yeah, it's one of those groups where, if it gets really bad, we'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Right now, I think you guys are complaining for nothing. But those are the people who claim that, for example, that the new Mad Max movie is corrupting minds because it represents the new underground movement to unseat men's power. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Okay, all right. Anyway, next one. Okay, first it was okay. Let me see. I
totally missed that one as well.
How are transgenders socially and legally seen in Japan? There you go.
How are they seen? Transgender, right?
How are transgenders socially
and legally seen? This is from Tails 2299.
Yes, Tails 2299.
So, well, again, first of all, we have to define what we mean by transgender. For the purpose of that, I believe that's someone who identifies and lives their life. They don't need to be surgically changed. They just are people who live as a women who live as men, or men who live as women.
I could be transgender, actually. So could you.
Sure. Well, no, because that is who you are, right? I mean, that's who you naturally identify.
I feel like I'm a woman inside, but I'm transgender.
Yeah. Well, if you feel that way, then you could be. If you don't, you can't be, right? So it's a state of being. It's not.
It's just. It's physically possible for me to be transgender, but I'm not.
But it's not physically defined. I think I could put on a dress, but that wouldn't make me transgender.
Right.
I've worn a dress before. I'm not transgender. I have. In Shinjuku Station, the busiest train station in the world, 3 million people pass through it every day, and I was forced to try on a dress there once.
Shibuya?
No, Shinjuku.
Oh, Shinjuku. Okay.
Yeah. I won't go into details. The dress didn't fit, but it was checking a costume for a wedding party, and we just did it on the stairs of the East Exit.
Wow.
And I figured, screw it. But yes. So, but that doesn't make me transgender.
I have respect for you.
Sorry?
I have newfound respect for you.
I lost a lot of respect for myself that day.
I respect you more than you respect yourself. That's interesting.
But that said, so in terms of particularly, the term for women who live their lives as men in Japan, you know the term?
New half? No.
Well, there are new half. New half are actually surgically adjusted people. There's
really? I don't think you have. I didn't think you have were surgically adjusted. My impression
new half, yeah.
Men who just wear tight clothes and think of themselves as females.
Well. For women who have men's characters, right? Who present themselves as men, they're called onabe. And there are onabe bars in Nichome, for example, where you can go and you're just hanging out with a bunch of hosts, but they just happen to be like women who are like acting as hosts. They're male characters.
Women who act like
men.
Rosie O'Donnell, basically. They're women who act like
Don't go Donald Trump on me, please. Come on, we've got.
Actually, I think Donald Trump could be a woman. I'm curious about that here. So.
He's a self-hating woman. If you hear why he just got banned from the next CNN debate because he speculated that the host who was giving him a hard time was menstruating.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they didn't invite him back. They rescinded his invitation.
Wow, that's impressive. I did not hear that. That's actually a question we'll deal with in a few minutes. But yeah.
So I don't know. So anyway, you're onabe and okama, right? Okama are men who act effeminate. No, that's not true. Okama is very specific. Okama is a man who acts like a woman, who lives as a woman. Not all gay people act like women. You can have butch gay. A butch gay wouldn't be okama.
So really, I didn't know that. I thought it was just homosexual.
I mean, I guess that would be. With okama, actually, I'm not totally clear. But onabe are women who live as men. So
someone who's just.
But if you're talking transgender, someone who acts like the other gender. Mm-hmm. You've got new half who people actually physically alter, and you have onabe and okama who are people who, men who act like women or women who act like men.
Okay, well, we've had Gregorio on the show.
Yeah, he's the guy we probably should be asking.
Well, what is he? What would be your educated guess?
So it's a good question, actually. So, I mean, I think a lot of people use the term gay nowadays, right? Because Okama he said this himself on the show, I think. Okama has an inference of being effeminate, which he says Japanese have this idea, as many people have this idea, all gays are effeminate, which he said isn't true, which is right?
You're either you're on the receiving end or the.
And he himself, in fact, he talked about this. I'm remembering this now. And he mentioned that there are Okama on TV who are straight, right, who just act effeminate, and they have girlfriends and they're married and they insist they're not gay.
Like what's his name? The motorcycle dressing.
Yeah, like a hard gay, for example.
Hard gay, right.
So anyway, how are they treated? I think people who act that full character, I don't know how they're treated by their families, but I think in mass media and entertainment, they're very accepted.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you know what? The thing about Japan is that Japan doesn't have this kind of Christian taboo against this stuff per se. There's a social thing against people who are different or strange. And there's a family thing about someone who might be doing something to not have children in the future or whatever, that families might resist for that reason. But the idea that it's immoral or that you're committing a sin, I don't think that's really that doesn't come into it. So I'd say generally, I think Japanese are very tolerant.
The question here is, are you entertaining?
Me?
No, not you, not you.
I could never
When
be.
they,
I'm not.
when they
half
consider a
entertaining.
homosexual, they don't care whether he's actually gay or not. They want to know is this guy going to sell tickets? Is this guy fun to have on TV?
Well, yeah. And it's not just Japan, by the way. In Britain, for example, you have people. I think it's very similar to what you have in Britain. You have a lot of entertainers there for a long time, going back to the '60s when homosexuality was illegal.
In England?
Yeah. I mean, they had sodomy.
I'm American, so I didn't know that.
Well, they had sodomy legislation on the books for a long time.
Seriously, it's illegal. It was illegal to be homosexual in England.
Well, sodomy was illegal.
So okay, well, yeah, that's like
you could be a lesbian, but but at the same time, effeminate characters like okama, like Japanese okama entertainers, like Japanese entertainers who act like gay people, have always been popular in the UK as well. So I don't know. So legally, socially, and legally is the question, right? Socially, I get the feeling it's not that big a deal. I mean, I guess they might be bullied.
Okay, well, legally, there have been cases in the past. A man who was medically accepted transgender was allowed to marry his I guess wife, although he was born physically a woman, and they adopted a child, but the government refused to accept that child as her son, so to speak, until recently. But now they do. So I would say that's a great advancement. I don't know how common that kind of situation. I imagine it's pretty rare.
Yeah, the legal thing.
The point is, the government did cave in and accept her in the end.
I'm not exactly sure how that works, actually, if they actually recognize legally gender change. I think they do. They do. But it is complicated because you've got the whole Koseki system, right?
Right. They do accept the gender change, but they had trouble accepting that new gender as that child's father, technically, because it was not technically her sperm, because she cannot produce sperm, of course.
Yeah.
But eventually they did, because she was adopted, Yeah. Which actually leads us to another question on this channel, which I'll just jump to that one. It's quite in the future, but someone says, I heard it's illegal to get married if you are adopted in Japan, which I've never heard before.
So one quick footnote on that last thing, just before we go. There's one thing I just remembered I wanted to say. For all you gaijins who learn your Japanese from your girlfriends, be careful, because you may inadvertently be interpreted as being transgender, or you'll be taken as okama if you learn effeminate. If you learn female Japanese, if you're a dude and you speak female Japanese, and I know some foreigners who are very masculine, macho, playboy foreigners, but they speak with a Japanese that would give the impression that they are trying to act like a woman, and they don't even realize it because they've learned their Japanese from
that. Okay,
I've met people like that. Back in the 90s.
Who speaks Japanese like a woman?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah,
I know a lot of guys in New Zealand who just learn the Japanese from dating, from figuring out how to hit on lots of Japanese girls. Yeah, they pick up lots of atashis, and a lot of atashi so zenzen omowanai wa. You get a lot of foreign guys who talk.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, which is hilarious, and I never correct them because I like to laugh at them. Sorry. Continue.
Correct them. Okay. All right. Let's see.
What was the next one?
Let's go. Okay, next question. Why don't we have Tokyo Sam or Scott Ackerman on as a guest?
We've had them on, both of them on.
Both on, yes. Okay, next question. There was an unarmed teen was shot to death in South Carolina just a few hours ago, I assume. Do you know anything about the story?
Well, first of all, Farrah, seriously, what the hell? No, I don't. I mean, this stuff seems to happen every day over there.
Yeah.
So what should I take on America's police force?
Yeah, we can't really comment on all this silly crime, no matter how horrible and tragic it is in America, because we're in Japan. Today's video, our videos are not. We can't really dedicate them to that, and that kind of stuff never happens in Japan. So let's talk about that.
You know what? Did you hear about just this is a tangent, but it just reminds me. Can I ask? Did you hear about the hitchbot?
Say again.
Did you hear about the hitchbot?
The what?
The hitchbot. Did you hear about the hitchbot?
We got that last word.
It's called a hitchbot. It's a friendly Canadian robot that was like a robot.
Yes,
that hitchhiked coast to
Americans
coast.
Vandalized it, and so it couldn't get any further.
Well, it got all the way across Canada, but it lasted like 100 miles in the US. It got to Philadelphia and it disappeared.
That's embarrassing.
That's funny. I saw the funniest reaction to that was Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. They added a 4th law, which was avoid Philadelphia.
That's embarrassing. As an American, I'm embarrassed.
That was funny.
Really, they couldn't fucking leave it alone.
No, they could.
Like, let it go through. Let someone have some little fun, you know. What did you gain by destroying a robot? So
the thing with the police thing, which I think it's kind of cool that they have these body cams, or that they're rolling that out. That's something good that I think Obama did, and that we have the payoff of that. We have the first case of a policeman who now is on camera being proven to have lied and to have shot someone, and he's being charged with murder. Well, you know that would never have happened if they hadn't had the body cam.
Yeah,
so that's a good development.
Backed him up almost immediately,
and so they lied too.
They backed off their lies after the cameras were it was revealed.
So I think that's in terms of all the police thing. I don't know. I think you could say it makes America look bad, but at the same time, the fact that all of this is coming out and people are reacting to it, I think that shows maybe that maybe it's a good thing about America that it's actually now doing maybe more than anywhere else to catch this stuff.
I don't know. It's still happening.
I won't ask why you're suddenly using tissues.
Not so bad now because it's the rapists or the murderers are being caught, but they're still there.
I'm sorry. What are you talking about?
You're saying it's a good thing, but
they've got body cams.
But it's still the kind of country where that kind of thing happens.
I think it happens in every country, though. The fact that it's coming to light so much in the U.S. is maybe a good thing.
No, I agree. It's not a bad thing.
Although they do shoot a lot of people there. That is something I find a bit discomforting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely is. Though we have to be fair, like 95%, 96%, 97% of all traffic stops, end up harmlessly shot. Nothing happens. Most traffic stops. But when something does happen, it's just it's horrible, of course. But most of the time, it's nothing. It doesn't get to the news because nothing happens.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's not that.
It's terrible, and the fact is, it looks racist. It looks like trigger happy.
It looks racist.
So hopefully that what Obama did, I think, is something. Hopefully, it'll have a positive impact.
I don't know how much Obama was responsible for that.
He called for the body cams. He provided the budget for it, which it makes a lot more sense than all the budget they're providing for tanks and automatic weapons.
Someone posted something on Facebook today. It said 1/4 of the budget that we spent on Iraq or something would have completely solved our social security problems.
Well, probably.
Okay, let's go on to the next question.
Yeah.
Okay. Our next question, and we're gonna try to answer as many of your questions as possible.
Okay. Rapid fire.
Not just the things about Hiko Simon sexy because
Well, it's just a given. We don't. Yeah.
Those aren't really questions. We're gonna try to vote. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here's a hard one, and this is by a guy who posts comments on my videos all the time that are often taken as troll comments, but they're not. I think I take him seriously. His name is James O'Hara.
I see it.
Is the reason for China's aggression just a cover for the Chinese to operate a directional drilling rig to steal Japanese oil?
So this is talking about the gas drilling. It's not oil, it's gas, it's natural gas, and we're talking about that thing by the median line of the economic zones of China and Japan, where there's a big gas field. And they're not even directionally drilling, they're just drilling straight down, but the oil field is on both sides of the economic thing, so Japan doesn't want them to go and drain all the gas on their side.
Right. I drink your milkshake.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Well, that's right. 2 straws in the milkshake, and they both promise they're not going to drink, but then China starts drinking, and America and Japan's like, you can't do that. Stop it.
Right.
But they're drinking.
Probably right. Maybe that's correct.
Yeah. Englandese, you're in love with Kazuko from Japan. Congratulations. Good on you. I don't know.
You're in love, or I'm in love, or he's in love.
Englandese. It's definitely a dude.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Just some information for you.
I have nothing. I don't have that person in mind.
In the live comments right now.
Oh, live comments.
I'm looking at the live comments
on the other channel
at the same time. I'm multitasking.
Okay, good. Everyone loves Kazuko from Japan.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I think you know who loves her most? Tomoko.
Oh yeah. Well,
Tomoko has declared her romantic love and said she would contemplate lesbian activity with her. So she'll even say that now on camera. She would say, "Yeah, I'll try."
I thought
I'm not a lesbian, but I'll try. Okay, here's another one. Here's a silly one. But how often do Japanese? Well, it's not silly because we know. How often do Japanese people eat sushi?
Probably about like once every 2 or 3 months, I would say.
Well, I would say once a week or once a month.
A week? I don't think once a week. Maybe once a month. Maybe a couple of times a month. A couple of times a month.
Not that common, but it's not that uncommon either.
My white balance is crazy.
Yeah, you're whiter than usual.
I'm always white, but damn, let me.
Okay, so it's not that common. So yeah, what do you think is the most common Japanese food, Hiko?
The most common Japanese food?
I would say
spaghetti.
Curry. What do you think? Curry.
Curry?
Yeah.
I don't think curry.
Which is not exactly Japanese food.
I think spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, I reckon like pasta or something like that. Japanese eat pasta all the time. Well, spaghetti. I mean, like every second place here is like Italian food. I don't know. Like, what would be the most common meal?
Yeah, there's Japanese. There are Japanese Italian restaurants everywhere, but they're not still Italian.
I think they're pretty good.
They're good, but I mean, they're not actually Italian. Japanese. I mean, I'm sure Italian people would like protest.
Yeah,
it would be insulting.
Christina in Japan says strawberry mocha. I think she means mochi. Strawberry mochi is so sweet, no pun intended.
We had her we had her. I just left her an hour ago. We were singing karaoke together. She has a wonderful voice. Seriously.
Yeah.
Good voice.
You're singing karaoke with her today?
Yes. Her and Tomoko and Tom Ghost of Matsubara, who's a professional singer, and he's actually got a band. We went to a karaoke bar that had his song in the actual machine, so he actually sang his own song, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear about the best way to self-teach or study Japanese for foreigners, people not from Japan.
Come to Japan. Make Japanese friends. That's the best way.
italki.com.
Is that yours?
No. Well, of course, Maggie Sensei.
Yeah.
But Maggie Sensei is more of a reference site.
Yeah.
If you have a question about something, you can actually find an answer on it. We have hundreds of answers, and we're actually a very popular Japanese language-centered site. We're actually doing really, really well. I'm actually surprised at how well that site is doing. MaggieSensei.com.
Yeah.
But there's another site called italki.com where you could find a teacher for any language you choose, including Klingon, which I'm surprised at. And you find your language, you find your teacher, and then you could schedule a class. They have sample classes you can take, and then you can, if you decide you like this teacher, you can actually schedule more formal classes and pay a little bit more. But you actually pay the teacher to teach you. Yeah. Here's the thing.
You actually pay the teacher to teach you. I've never heard of that.
Well, okay, here's one. I'm actually teaching Japanese as well. I don't know if you know this, but one of my students is using this book. This is which I have not used in years, but he said, I have this book. I want to use this book. And I said, okay. So I actually went and got that book online. So I am his teacher using that because he has all these incredibly basic questions.
Yeah.
That for you and me, you and I who speak Japanese well, or fairly well,
forget about it.
He had, things that he doesn't understand at all.
Yeah.
We can answer those questions. I mean, some of the questions. I mean, not this particular guy, but for example, I've gotten questions, and I'm sure you have too. Like, what's the difference between hiragana and katakana? Do I need kanji? Do I need hiragana? Do I have to actually read? Things like that.
Fair questions. But yeah, learning Japanese for people who want to go to Japan. I'd like to hear the best way to self-teach, study Japanese for foreigners. Get a boyfriend or a girlfriend from Japan, where you are. Get someone to pillow talk, as they say in Japanese. That is the best.
I disagree. I never had that. Did you?
Yeah.
I never learned that way.
It helped. Well, I mean,
my girlfriend in Japan actually spoke English really much better than I spoke Japanese, so we never spoke.
Did you ever date any Japanese girls outside of Japan, like before you came?
Not really, no.
Not really?
No. I said no. Okay. I mean, I'm sure I ran across them occasionally, but not to the point that we ever had a more than a one-time conversation.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I worked for a Japanese company before I got a Japanese girlfriend, and that clearly benefited a lot. And having the Japanese girlfriend on top of that helped a lot. But I still am a great believer that real interaction and actual communication in Japanese, and any opportunity to do that is still a million times better than any book. Although, of course, in the absence of that, there are great books and there are great courses. But, 5 days spent talking with someone who you want to talk to in Japanese, even if you're not in Japan, to me is worth like half a year of learning, rote learning from a book.
I will say this. I came to Japan and I studied by myself for almost 1 year. And a lot of it was wasted time because I did not know exactly what I was doing. But if I had a Japanese person to ask questions to at the same time, it would have been much better. I would have been much farther along at the end of the year. At the end of the year, I ended up enrolling in a proper Japanese school and was the best elementary student there. But I should have been much higher, much better after a year than I would if I had a teacher. So I think a site like italki.com is good because you can actually find a teacher to ask those questions to, which is my only point there. And then having a person that you can bounce questions off, invaluable.
Yeah, or just bounce, So yes, it was.
Okay, all right. Here's another question for you.
Yes.
All right. I would like to hear. Oh, here, that's the same question. Learning Japanese for same question. How much should I charge for English lessons over Skype?
$1 billion.
As much as you can. What's the most you've heard, Pico?
I've never heard anything. I've never heard of Skype. Didn't exist when I came to Japan. I haven't needed it since I got here. So, I don't know. Seriously, you're more the.
I know. Here's the question. Okay, if you are a Filipino living in the Philippines, you can charge $5 an hour and get away with it. And there are quite a few Filipinos who make a living teaching English on Skype at that rate. However, they of course they are not culturally literate, so they won't be able to teach you high-level English. I know the New Zealanders will charge 1,000 yen. But they usually don't teach on Skype, and if they do, it's probably a bit more than 1,000. I mean, 500 yen. So
yeah,
it depends on who you're talking to. But New Zealanders, no offense, Hiko, are on the lowest. They're like Mexicans in America. We've talked about this before. They are the Mexicans to the 8-hour system.
Hey, we bring the TPP. We want everybody to trade without any, because we're cheaper than everybody, and we're going to clean up if you will sign up to that treaty. So yeah.
So it depends on what your nationality is. If you are American or Canadian or British, I would say you can get away with 2,500, maybe even 3,000 an hour for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I teach on Skype, actually do, and I charge 3,500 for 30.
Wow, it's like 3.5 New Zealanders.
Yeah. So now I don't want to teach on Skype. It's something my school offers as a kind of incentive to get people to come.
Yeah.
But I teach 3 classes a week or 4 classes a week. 4 classes a week. And I don't look forward to it because half the time it just, it doesn't work out because they can't get their Skype to work. There's some kind of technical problem.
Yeah.
You end up, wasting all this time trying to teach someone, just getting Skype to work. So I don't really look forward to it. I don't want to do it. I'd rather get paid for the hour. I'd rather someone come to the school and pay for an hour.
Yeah.
It would be almost the same. So, anyway, okay. Here's another one. This might be for Hiko Show, but your guys' opinion of the Emperor releasing Hirohito's surrender speech after all these years. What do you think? I heard it was released, but I didn't read it. Did you read it?
Yeah. So they released the Kunaicho, the household agency, actually released the original recording of the Emperor's, announcement that we're going to have to surrender, folks.
That was in Japanese?
It was in Japanese, but it was in it was in Imperial Japanese that basically nobody understood.
Yeah, nobody understood that.
It sounds like also the recording that was played on the radio was actually slowed down slightly to make the voice sound deeper. The actual real recording, when they released the actual master, was something like 20 seconds longer, but mostly shorter. But it's because his voice was higher, so they kind of altered a little bit.
Really?
But yeah. I don't think it had any extra content or anything like that. It was already known. So I don't know. I think it was just something that they kept that they'd never kind of made public. I don't think there was a particular political meaning to it or anything like that. It was just the right time to release it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were trying to make a political statement with it myself. But
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Last week I received 2 emails from 2 different guys from Finland who want to come to Japan. And on today's question, this could be actually one of the same guys, or it could be just a completely different guy. But the question is, how hard is it to look for a job in Japan if you're a Finland guy?
Yeah, a Finnish guy. Finnish.
Well, he calls himself Finland guy, but yeah, of course, Finnish guy.
Finland guy.
Anybody can look for a job. Finding a job is a different matter.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there are plenty of Santa positions, for example. I don't know if that. Santa jobs. If you come at like Christmas, there are jobs like dressing up as Santa, and that is one job where I know Finnish people technically have an advantage. If they got an American,
people have an advantage.
Well, now you're favoring Americans, but no, if they were giving that to an American, I would say that guy is not even from Finland. Although then you'd upset the Norwegians. They get very upset about this because they've got this big thing.
I'm sorry, where is Santa Claus from? I thought he was from New York City.
Well, no, there's a big fight between Finland and Norway over the origin of Santa Claus, or the hometown.
What do think? I don't. I guess they think it's from Finland.
Yeah, they probably think he's from America.
Right. So I'd say it's pretty difficult to find a job in Japan if you're from.
Well, I don't know. I mean, so the problem is that for the Scandinavians, I feel sorry for the Scandinavians because they speak better English, for example, than people from England.
Mm-hmm.
But
they do. They speak better English than people from England.
Have you met people from England? Have you heard them speak English? Seriously, Scandinavians are better educated and they speak better English than like 90% of the people from the British Isles.
Wow.
But it's obviously going to be harder for them to get a job teaching English because they're not from a native English speaking country, even though their level of English is obviously extremely high. So, I mean, I guess they have to fight against that. But I don't know. I mean, it depends on what other specialty you have. There are Finnish people here. Finnish, is the same language group as Japanese. Finnish, Hungarian, Uyghur, and Japanese are the same language group.
Turkish, right?
Turkish, Uyghur. There's a Central Asian, Finnish, Hungarian, and Japanese. They're the same.
I didn't know Hungarian was in there too. I knew Turkish. What about Korean? Turkish. I heard Japanese, Korean, and Turkish.
I'm gonna Google it right now because I always heard that Finnish was Finnish, Japanese language similarity. There's a thing with this that they're in the same language group. Yeah, the Finnish-Japanese connection.
I'm pretty sure it was Japanese, Korean, and Turkish.
It's a Finno
Asiatic group. I forgot the name.
So here it is. Finnish language. The Finnish language is a Finno-Ugric language, a group of languages belonging to the Uralic language family. And related languages, it's very similar to Japanese, Hungarian. They don't even mention Korea, but yeah.
What?
But there you go. Finnish, Hungarian, Japanese. Boom. I'm still the king.
This is bizarre. For all these years, I've been sure that I learned something when I heard that Japanese was related to Korean and Turkish. Yeah, Altaic language.
Yeah. Well, anyway, from the Ural Mountains.
Well, what does yours say?
Sorry?
What language group is it? According to your search?
Well, as I understand, they're both from this Finno-Ugric language group, right?
Well, this is Altaic language.
Okay, but Altaic as well is still refers to Central Asia, Russia.
Yeah, Central Asia.
So, yeah.
This says Turkish, Mongolic, Tungusic, Koreanic, and Japonic.
Okay, that doesn't mention Finnish.
No, it doesn't mention Finnish at all.
Yeah. But apparently it is similar.
Okay, well, anyway, but you can't get a visa on it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can't tell a visa officer, hey, my language is different. It's similar to yours. It's just not going to help you.
By the way, I apologize to Englandese for saying that Scandinavian people are better at at our language than English people. But seriously, I mean, you know what I mean. If we're talking about shavs, I mean, real shavs, you know, which there are a lot of. I mean, Swedish people, seriously, they kick their asses at English.
Most Americans don't even understand what a chav is. You want to explain it? Like just a douchebag, right?
A chav is it's a bit classist as well. It's basically someone with whose entire family has an ASPO against them. And ASPO is an antisocial behavior or, prohibition order. And there are entire towns of people like this in parts of UK.
You see them on TV sometimes, but
yeah, they play. There are a whole TV series based on them. Hey, Comical Rain is watching. Good to see you, Comical Rainer.
Oh, Comical Rain is great. Okay. Speaking of aggressive women, here's the next question. Next question is, I just met my first Gaijin hunter.
Ooh.
How? Please talk about how to deal with them, how to handle them.
Gaijin hunter.
What? I know I went about it all wrong. So basically, he wants advice on how to handle a Gaijin hunter. I've never met. I don't remember having any problem with Gaijin hunters. Maybe I have met them.
Well, I know you've met them. I mean, you're assuming that we're talking about Japanese women who like to date Gaijin guys, right?
Right. Aggressively.
I mean, I remember you had a story about, well, actually, no, there wouldn't be a Gaijin hunter, just a woman who always wanted to be around a Gaijin guy in your building. I remember that was a good story.
You know what? Tonight, I was at the party tonight. I was out with Tomoko.
Yes.
Kelly, Ryan, Tom, one Japanese guy. My brother was there. Mm-hmm. Stephen was there. Everyone was a foreigner except for Tom's friend, who's a Japanese guy, and Tomoko. Yeah. And Tomoko was having a great time dancing and singing by herself,
Yeah.
But I would never classify Tomoko as a Gaijin hunter at all. She's not especially interested in people because they're foreigners. Yeah.
I mean, so we're talking about Roppongi girls, and the best story of a version of that I've ever heard was I was talking with a Navy friend, a U.S. Navy rugby player. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about, he likes to go to Roppongi because the type of girl that he likes, the way that they kind of dress or, their attitude and type of music, they're in Roppongi. He likes the Roppongi girls. Mm-hmm. And he said, he likes the girls down there, but there's one thing about them that bothers him, which was, one day he's out there, he's talking with the girls down there, and he started to notice, the girls there, that they know the names of all the ships.
They know the names of all the ships?
Hey, are you from Kitty Hawk? And then he started to realize that, oh my God, they're getting around all the guys on all the ships.
Yeah, that would be a little disturbing.
That would disturb me. So,
okay, here's an easy one for you.
Yeah. Japanese
toilet. Is it hard to use?
Well, let's come back a quick second. How would you deal with them? It's up to you. I mean, nothing wrong. I mean, if they're a woman who like Asian guys,
How would you get with one? I would personally
stand still and breathe.
One.
Go to Roppongi.
Get with one is fairly easy. I think his question was how to handle them.
Yeah, how to handle them. So, what I would say, honestly, I mean, that's like the easiest thing. Plus, I mean, that's what most. I mean, let's face it. There are Asian guys who like Japanese girls who are here, and there are Japanese girls who like Asian guys. I mean, that's just.
And there are Asian guys who like Japanese girls. Yeah.
I don't think there's a particular problem. If you, like I say, if they can list off all the names of every ship in Yokosuka, I would probably.
There are also guys who like girls with big boobs, and guys who like girls with long legs, and girls who like men with money.
Yeah.
So,
go figure.
We don't have words for these people, but
yeah,
for some reason, if you like Gaijin guys, you're labeled as a what was the name? Gaijin hunter. Yeah.
But anyway, how best to handle them? Just stand still and breathe. That's my advice.
Stand still and breathe.
Japanese toilet. That's a good question. So we're talking about the squat toilet here.
I'm assuming the squat toilet, right?
Did you know how to use a squat toilet before you came to Japan?
I'd never seen one before, and the way I dealt with it my first time was to take off my pants completely.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what
because I didn't want to soil them, so I took off my pants, I folded them politely into the corner, them off to the side, and used the toilet. I've heard some people have actually sat on the side.
Strawberry Mochi is is in the comments, so she's an awesome karaoke singer.
She would be watching tonight.
Yeah. So you took off your pants completely, but wait a minute. So what about like in Peru? So in Peru, they don't have long drops or squat toilets.
They do, but I wasn't a baby. I mean, when I was in Peru, I was a baby, so I was.
You went back on trips, though,
so I didn't have to deal with that.
You've been back there on vacations, though, right? Or you obviously.
Yeah, but we have normal toilets as well. I mean, we only have those toilets like in tourist spots.
Okay.
And all you have to do is avoid them and wait for a real toilet to pop up.
The first time I used one of those toilets, and it was an emergency situation, which wasn't the best.
Yeah. Basically, they're not that common anymore. You know, they're out there, but only.
Oh, I think they're very common. Well, in Japan, there are sometimes still, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you can't avoid them. And that was the situation I first had to use one, and I didn't know what to do. So I couldn't balance myself squatting, and I didn't know what to do with my trousers. So I had to like hold on the doorknob and lean backwards. It was like repelling. You know how like on those movies when the anti-terrorist guys like get on ropes and they jump out of helicopters? I was kind of doing that, except without trousers on, and I had diarrhea.
Like Impossible, Mission Impossible 5.
It was like mission diarrhea. Yes. Yeah, it was very unpleasant. How do you use them? The key is you only lower your pants to your knees, not all the way down, because otherwise you'll be blocking the Bombay area. And the bombing area. And the other part of it is gaman. You just have to hold on for that right knuckle right. You know, the circulation will end if you have gaijin legs like mine after about 30 seconds, and everything after that you basically have no function of your legs and pain, and you just have to hold on and not fall over.
That's for me, taking them off was the only thing to deal with them, to be safe, because if you get your pants soiled, you're fucked, right?
Yeah.
You're fucked. What are you gonna do? You've got shit on your pants.
That's not a good situation to be. Saya Nash in the live comments is asking what we think of weeaboos.
Of what? Weeaboos?
Yeah.
I think they're silly, but I mean, yeah, they're a little bit silly.
I remember when I was first called a weeaboo.
A weeaboo. I'm sure you have to.
I have to, and I was like, well, what the hell is a weeaboo? And then the best response to that ever was by Nonstop to Tokyo Constantine, who says the only people who use the term weeaboos are weeaboos. I didn't even know what the hell it meant. Sorry?
What was Constantine's answer?
Her answer was, in her experience, the only people who use the term weeaboo are weeaboos. That pretty much nailed it right there. I thought that was the best response I'd ever heard.
Yeah. True. By the way, Radri says this is a rated R conversation. But it's nice to see Radri in the comment section.
I ran into Radri today in Ikebukuro, and it was funny. I was walking with my family, so we didn't stop. I just said, hey, I shook his hand, kept walking. My wife is like, is that one of your otaku friends? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, he looks like an otaku.
Would that mean weeaboo? I mean, would she have said weeaboo if she were foreign?
No, she wouldn't have said Weeaboo.
Tomoko Reina says that she has many Canadian. She says, I have met so many Canadian males asking me to hook them up with Japanese girls.
Yeah.
There are a lot. Yeah. By the way, Comical Reina, I have a Japanese friend, a student who's over 50. She's in her 50s and divorced, and she would love to meet a Canadian man, not an American, but a Canadian. So if you know anyone who is interested in a woman who in her 50s, please
lumberjack.
Email me.
She wants a Mountie. She wants a Mountie.
A Mountie, yes.
The big hats. I can understand. I can see that.
Next question. Okay. Let's see. What's your opinion of the power games being played in the South China Sea? And how concerned are you, if at all, about those games? And also your opinion on Article 9. That's a tough question.
You go first. I talk about this stuff all the time, so I want to hear you go first. And okay, then I'm just going to. I think Japan, disagree and attack anything that you say. Okay, so go ahead.
No matter what I say, he goes.
No matter what you say, I'm going to disagree with it. So
okay, so I think that Japan should keep Article 9. Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Dig your own hole. You're digging your own hole.
Hold on. Though I think it's kind of the braver position to take, because responsibly speaking, as a member of the international community, Japan should repeal Article 9 and carry their weight like all the other countries. So if Japan wants to be respected by the international community, they should repeal Article 9 and have a standing army. And when America goes into one of their stupid wars with next time it's going to be around or whatever, then Japan should be forced by their own sense of responsibility.
I'm sorry, you started this whole thing by saying you're for Article 9, and now you're talking for like 10 minutes about disagreeing with it.
Yes, but so I think that's the most responsible position to take. However, it would hurt Japan. I think it's actually a braver position to say, fuck everybody. We don't care if it's irresponsible. Yeah. We're going to keep Article 9 and stay in our own shell, just like Switzerland, and just stay out of it. So I think Japan should keep Article 9, even though it's actually the less internationally responsible position to take, because it will save more Japanese lives, which is in the end really that's what I think is the government's job, is to protect its people.
I think you're smoking crack. Okay, keep going. Right. Article 9, what about the South China Sea? What's your opinion on the South China Sea?
Oh, I have no opinion about South China. What?
China grabbing all the islands.
China can have it. That's all.
Yeah.
China's silly.
Screw you, man. Screw you. No, okay. So controversy. Article 9. I think Article 9 is like the best provision of any constitution ever written. It's only got one slight flaw, which is that it was imposed on Japan with 2 nuclear weapons and written by a university student who was writing it to impose it on another country when no country would ever accept Article 9 for themselves voluntarily, and no country ever has. So
true. Are you reading that? Yeah, that's completely true.
So from my perspective, if Japan ever one day actually has a referendum, and they're free to vote for or against it as far as I'm concerned, but Japan should have its own constitution and not a constitution written on a 1-week deadline by a couple of university students during an occupation based on World War II. It should actually, even Iraq got to have its own constitution after America invaded. No one would ever impose that on another country.
I think the Iraqi constitution actually says death to America.
Yeah, probably does. So for me, I think it's wonderful, but at the same time, I don't think. What is a constitution? A constitution is the highest law, right? It is the fundamental law that governs how laws are made for a country. It's the hardest law to change or to make, and so that's the law that has to represent
people's will, or should.
Well, that's got to be the most fundamentally, universally accepted, true law that represents the will of the people, right? That. And Japan's constitution is an imposed occupation constitution from another country that's a list of negatives. So, while I think that it's a wonderful constitution for what it says, it would have been better if the Americans who wrote that had actually imposed that constitution on America. Could you imagine if the Americans had taken that American constitution and took it for America rather than Japan?
Oh, yeah. It never would have worked.
Well, it'd be wonderful. It would be wonderful. And
it would have been wonderful. But
I would vote.
It never would happen.
I would vote for America to have Article 9 imposed upon it. I would vote for that. But, let's face it. Would Americans accept that? Probably not. I wish they would. So I think it's great. But, I don't think it's legitimate because of the way it was imposed. And I'd love for it to be legitimate.
So basically, you think Japan should have the freedom that America has to make bad decisions.
That's exactly it, though. That is exactly it. I mean, this idea. And there still is this thing, whenever anyone talks about changing the constitution, all the gaijins come out first with the liberal Japanese who say, no, we can't trust Japan to make bad decisions because, they're going to invade Asia again or do something like that. But Japan isn't special, and I think that no, Japan should be allowed to make bad decisions. And this is the thing, even if it's voting for Abe or whatever. I mean, people say, oh, they voted for Abe. Who cares? Like America's got a perfect record of voting for perfect presidents. Oh. So no, I think Japan should be normal. That's what I think. That's on the Constitution thing. On the South China Sea thing, I think it's just the reality that we have to get used to China getting more assertive, and it's going to happen everywhere. It's going to happen up here, and we should be taking notes and thinking about what to do when they start doing it in Northeast Asia. It sucks, but I don't think there's anything anyone can do about it unless America wants to get involved, which,
Right.
So, sorry. That's it.
No, that's good. Our comment section is having a discussion on whether or not Michaela makes good videos.
Michaela makes good videos. She makes good videos. I mean, I don't think that's controversial. Yeah, even
no, she makes great videos. Period.
She does make great videos. That's why she's got a huge channel. Yeah. I don't think that's controversial at all.
No, but they're just funny how they're. Oh, the big question. Someone said I don't like her videos because she doesn't have subs, or she speaks in Japanese mostly, and other people are like, oh, she has subtitles. But completely has nothing to do with our conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Would you marry what is this? Whether you marry a Japanese? Oh, that's not even a question. I'm sorry. Okay, Jon Stewart leaving the Daily Show and the GOP debate. What do you think about that? I think it's terrible that Jon Stewart left the Daily Show. But
well, they've been going for 17 years, though. I mean, I love Last Week Tonight.
Oh, I love Last Week Tonight too. I watch that all the time.
So
it's hard to teach. It's too intelligent for most of my students. I can only teach that to the most advanced students I have. But it's good. It's good. And he's left a legacy behind him. All these great actors and.
But that's it. And it's pretty. You think about what a burden doing that show must be to Jon Stewart to do that show like basically every day with a few vacations, but almost without a break for 17 years. I think he's entitled to.
Yeah.
Bang up his boots on that one.
Yeah.
I think it's a great series.
Yeah. And he's left some great talk show hosts behind him with like
that's right.
Even Colbert and the guy. What's the guy's name from Tonight?
Last Week Tonight. Oh no.
What's his name? I just forgot his name.
That must be that cold. I can't remember.
He's great, but I just forgot his name. Anyway, he's a great British comedian.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, how about this one? Did you see the GOP debates? Because I did not actually.
I read about them. But seriously, I mean, so what, you got Jeb Bush and Donald Trump and Ted Cruz
and Chris Christie.
Yeah, I mean, who would you vote for out of those if those were all your choices? I'm guessing you're not a Republican, but even if
you know what, this sounds terrible, but I would probably, without knowing much about what I'm talking about, I would probably vote for Jeb Bush.
Yeah,
just because I figure he's got the experience, and he would be able to talk to his brothers.
Yeah,
and say, hey, and his dad, like, hey, what should I do in this situation?
And then just do the opposite of whatever his brother tells him to do.
Right, he would at least have some kind of
his dad.
Good informants, and he would be able to make an intelligent decision, hopefully.
love him or hate him, his dad, like the senior, right? Bush Senior was actually technically, I think, a competent president. I mean, he was like.
Oh yeah, there's nothing actually that bad about him.
There's nothing that offensive, if you ask me. But but I don't know. I mean, I myself would be interested to see all of America like become like Florida. It would be kind of cool.
Mm. They're still talking about McKinley in the comments. Does Japan have a Donald Trump equivalent? I don't think so.
I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. Does it have super rich people? Yeah. Does it have
super rich, opinionated assholes? No.
Mm.
No, they're smart enough to keep their trap shut and just enjoy their richness.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, the fact that Trump got banned from the next GOP debate because of the comments that the sort of comments that he was making and stuff like that. No one that extreme.
That's ridiculous.
He's like a cartoon character, isn't he? I mean, and he'll get votes for that. I like Perot. I don't know whatever happened to that guy.
He's really old now. Ross Perot.
He was old, like in 1988.
That's true. Yeah. But I mean,
was it 92?
Well, what happened to John McCain? I mean, he's just too old now.
He was too old before.
Well, that was the thing. He was borderline too old then. That was an issue. He is now 85 years old. 85 is really old.
It's an interesting one. Charge Fryer asks whether the mayor of Osaka, Toru Hashimoto, is Donald Trump, and I would say definitely not. I know that the Gaijin community hates Toru Hashimoto because he did the audit of tattoos, right? So everyone decided that he's.
I like him. Do you like him?
I like him, and he's a smart guy. And no, he's nothing like Donald Trump at all. It's actually a shame he's going out of politics. But
yeah, I'm sad that he's leaving as well. He has a strong opinion about which direction Japan should take, and I like the fact that he's opinionated. I think Japan needs more opinionated politicians.
Well, that's right. That's
whether I agree with them or not, but I think it's good to have politicians out there who say what they want, who say what they feel, regardless of what the status quo says. So. People keep talking about anal now.
It's the same person who keeps saying it, by the way.
Yeah.
You might want to notice that.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like it's not funny, your anal question. Okay, let me just remove the anal question there. Okay. Let's see what else is happening. Yeah, so Ross Pro is old. That's all. We don't really have any old. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. The old. We do have one. I'm sorry. The the ex-Tokyo mayor. What was his name?
Hashimoto. Not Hashimoto. Ishihara.
What's that?
Ishihara. He was the governor of Tokyo.
Ishihara. What's happening with him? What's he doing these days?
He's getting older. He still is making mischievous comments. I mean, there's that expression. It's the same in English, actually. There's a similar saying in Japanese that only the good die young, by which measure he's going to live to be 120, and he's still making trouble. But he's just.
And his son is now in the mix, right? Shintaro Ishihara, yes, he is now 82, so he's getting up there too.
Yeah.
82 is old, Damn.
So what else we got?
Let's see. What's your opinion on makeup? Do you prefer women to wear more or less of it? I would say it depends on the woman. Generally speaking, less.
Well, the thing about Japan is that Japan is famous, of course, for the natural look, right? The Japanese women here. But the thing about the natural look, from what I understand from the encyclopedias I've read on the subject, is that it actually takes quite a lot of makeup and quite a lot of effort to get the natural look, which, of course, as a guy makes me think, so what's the point? But the point is that, it's to make it look like you're good looking without lots of makeup, as opposed to, for example, Korean people that put like tons of foundation and it's obvious that they're wearing lots of makeup.
Koreans have in my opinion, they're obviously made up, and I don't like it personally.
Yeah. I mean, guys tend to say that we prefer less, but we also prefer women who are really good looking, and sometimes we don't realize.
You know what the answer to that is? We prefer boobs. That's
definitely no makeup on
that's the answer. Boobs. We don't really care about the makeup. By the way, speaking of makeup and non-makeup, no relation at all. But September 5th.
Oh.
September 5th. We're
having our
annual YouTube party. The
biggest party of the year. That's right.
Same location as last year.
Tokyo Sports Cafe, right near the Roppongi intersection, like
in
central.
If you are free, please come. And it's going to be 3,000 yen, I believe, per person.
Yep, 3,000 entry, and it's going to be like Nomi Hordai, and
all you can drink.
all you can drink.
All the soda or beer.
Alcoholic or not alcoholic, but
it's just an opportunity to meet each other, get together, and see each other in person.
Yeah.
So if you are in the Tokyo area and you're free that night, please come by. I'm sure there'll be various after parties splintering off after.
Last year, everyone went like a foam party at a nightclub afterwards. Which was kind of awesome. I mean, I got out of there a bit early, but that was really cool. But this is the thing: when you're in the middle of Roppongi, there's the after party options are good, but also the bar itself. Most people just stayed in that bar. In the last couple of years, that's what happened, right? You stayed in there and had a fight a couple of years ago, and it's just a cool place to hang out. So yeah, it is the party of the year, and it's weatherproof. It's a cool bar. It's got like sports screens everywhere that we put YouTube videos all over. YouTube people often show up, so yeah, yes. Be there, be square.
Lots of YouTubers show up, so if you're free, please come and join us. We'll be there. Hiko and I will be there in the back room, just hanging out, having some fun. That's one of the few times a year that Hiko and I actually get to meet in person.
That's right. It is weird because I must admit, it doesn't. Whenever I see you, like in real person,
we're actually not. We're not.
It doesn't feel like I haven't seen you in ages
because
it's like you again.
Online together.
We've only actually met in person probably a very limited number of times, but it totally doesn't feel like that. To me, this is real. This is real life, which is pretty sad about my life, I suppose.
Well, no, here's a troll comment I got the other day. Someone said, Victor, you take YouTube too seriously. It's not real life.
It's real life.
Yeah, well, my argument against that is like, do you ever say that about the telephone or the mail? Do you ever say, or even Skype? You're so, oh, it's just Skype. Oh, I mean, if someone says "fuck you" or something on the telephone line, you're not gonna see the guy later and say, "Oh, don't worry, it's just the telephone."
Very much is going to be
real life. It's a reflection of reality. Yeah, and of course, it's not the same, but it's not less. It's just different. So anyway, come on September 5th and see us and meet us differently. Not this way. See us in person. Smell us. It's a more 3D experience. You can touch us, smell us, and have a drink with us.
Well, certainly, yes. A firm handshake, I think, is something. A firm handshake.
And strawberry mochi will be there.
And strawberry mochi will be there.
Yes, which was great because she was initially not going to come, but now she's going to come, so it's great. A lot of course, hundreds of other YouTubers will be there too. So.
Well, it is the biggest YouTube gathering, and it's not just for YouTubers, although a lot of YouTubers come from all over the world for it, but also for people who watch YouTube or just there's a lot of watchers, a lot of people planning to start channels who do. And it's the best party for just meeting and hanging out with us and people like us. So you be there or be square, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Smell vision, exactly. Yeah. We should wrap up here, Hiko.
We should. Yeah.
But next week we'll be on your channel.
Yep.
Are you okay with it? It's Obon weekend.
I think so. So
I'll be okay.
To be confirmed anyway, but I'm still trying to figure out the best formula for this. Now that soccer season, now that UK Premier League has started again, it is more doable on Saturdays, but it's a bit challenging for me. So I've got my own other show on Sundays, and to do shows both nights is tough. So
keep your ears open, and you guys should all follow us on Twitter because we will be doing an occasional Wednesday night show.
Yeah,
we just discussed this last week, but we'll be
trying to figure it out still.
Yeah, so if you're free on Wednesday nights, it'll be on Hiko's channel on Wednesday nights for sure. But
just tonight, I've been editing. It's taken ages for me to do it, but you remember I told you I got Henna into the YouTube space, and we did we recorded about 1.5 hours of conversation just talking about the difference between making YouTube videos and making commercial TV production.
Great. Henna is a great video maker.
Yeah. Plus, I went to high school with the guy, so we just have a lot of stupid stuff thrown in with it. It's really good. I'm editing at the moment. I've edited the first 3 episodes.
Oh, great. Okay.
And it's really good.
We will be making some more videos on the day on September 6th with Tomoko. She's looking forward to that.
Okay.
Did you reserve the space?
Not yet.
Okay.
I should do that.
Okay, get on that before all these people watching do it.
Yes. But anyway, this week, Tuesday, is going to be the final episode of How to Not Screw Up in Japan with Rochelle Kopp, which has been an awesome series, and I've gotten lots of fantastic feedback on that.
Great.
It's been like 12 full episodes, and she's like a Japan business culture expert. So that's been really awesome. But the show with Ace with Henna Gaijin is going to follow the Tuesday after that, and it's going to be a weekly show every Tuesday. So yeah, look out for that. And
but they're not live shows. You're just releasing them on those nights, right?
yeah, I'm just recording. I just release an episode every Tuesday morning Japan time.
How not to screw up in Japan.
How to not screw up in Japan.
I'm sorry, how to not screw up. I screwed that up.
Yeah.
Screwed up the time.
You screwed that up in Japan.
Well, you have a whole bunch of those. I haven't seen. I'm embarrassed to say I haven't seen any of these yet.
You should watch them. She's smarter than me.
I gotta go back and see this.
Yeah, it's really got the best feedback I think of anything I've ever done actually.
Okay, great. Yeah, I gotta check these out.
Yeah. Well, good night. It is late.
So. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
And remember, next week we will be on Hiko Simon's channel.
We will indeed.
Check the description below. I'll put links to that channel. I actually don't have links to your channel yet, but I'll put that right away. Thanks, man. Good to see you, Hiko.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Have a good night.
Right. Good night, everyone. Peace out.